as they were traveling beside each other. The passenger in the victim's car gave a thumbs down motion towards the suspect. That seemed to enrage the suspect, and things got ugly at that point. And the victim was actively trying to get away from the F-150, and the F-150 was actively trying to get closer to them. At some point on Crosstown Parkway, the suspect pointed what they described as an AR-style rifle and fired one shot, which hit the passenger, the rear door on the driver's side of the victim's vehicle. They continued to try to lose the suspect. They did a U-turn, I think, at Preston on Crosstown Parkway. Took some evasive action, ended up on the side streets when the suspect caught up to them again, fired another round at the vehicle, and went in an open rear window over the passenger's head and out the windshield of that vehicle. So eventually they were able to get away from the suspect and call 911.
Did they know each other at all? Or?
No, there's no information that they knew each other at all.
You say they were street racing?
That's what was described to us by the victim, yes.
When the victim gave him a thumbs down, what was that?
That was the passenger in the victim's car, so she was also a victim, but yes.
What was that supposed to indicate, do you think?
I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine. I guess she didn't approve of what they were doing, perhaps.
So the street racing, not that it's hugely relevant, but the street racing was on US 1.
I believe it was as they turned onto Crosstown Parkway from US 1.
So the street racing occurs on Crosstown.
Yes. And, you know, that's a loose description of what they were doing, you know.
Do you think in any way that the victim, but with this gesture of the thumbs down, in some sense, do you think they incited this guy to become enraged?
That's what I surmise, yes.
So they weren't completely blameless in the situation, is that right?
That's why they call them road rage incidents. You know, you just rub somebody the wrong way at the wrong time on the wrong day, and you don't know what kind of reaction you're going to get.
Did the man you've arrested give you an explanation for why he did what he did?
Nope, he's denying involvement.
What do you think of it?
What do I think of it?
Yeah.
I think it's frustrating. You know, this isn't the first time I've been in front of all of you discussing road rage incidents. You know, I got my message out every way I know how, but people continue to behave poorly on the roadway. So it's just frustrating.
Could you run us through the arrest process of this suspect?
You asking me how we developed the suspect?
Yeah.
We have technology all over the city at this point in time. We have license plate readers, traffic cameras. You know, there are lots of private network cameras in all people's homes all over the streets. And when we get a report of this incident, the first thing we do is we go to the tape and we have a description of the vehicle with great detail, down to it being a lower truck with a specific sticker on the rear of the vehicle, a description of wheels and tires. So it's very unique to the suspect's vehicle. We were able to identify the vehicle in the area at the time, develop a license plate. We were able to go by the home, see the vehicle in that current state. Very easy, you know. We also were able to identify where he was traveling from and to. We were able to get video footage of where he was at his place of work just prior to the incident. He's leaving that location just prior to the incident, and he returns home shortly after the incident occurs. So it's really not that difficult.
AR type rifle being coated around in the passenger seat of your truck, I mean, that's pretty unusual.
It's not hardly unusual. It just depends on, you know, the individual and what he's up to. It's, you know, people who are involved in nefarious activities are known to arm themselves, right, when they're out and about doing their business. I'm not suggesting I know what his purpose for having it was, but, you know, we do encounter it. It's not that terribly unusual.
With AR rifles in the passenger seat of...
I'm not saying you see it every day, but in our business we see it. So.
Did you guys recover it?
We recovered pieces of an AR rifle.
What do you mean by that?
Well, I would suggest that he knew that he was involved in an incident and that the police would be showing up at some point in time, and he didn't want to have that evidence on him. So I surmised that he disassembled the weapon and tried to get rid of it.
Where did he find the pieces?
In his home.
So did he hide them? Did he hide them around his house?
I don't know exactly where they were in the house, but, you know, during the search warrant that we executed at his home, we recovered pieces of an AR rifle, We also got gunshot residue on the interior driver's handle of his truck.
Did he confess?
Nope.
How lucky are those victims?
Extremely lucky. You know, that passenger side victim could have easily been hit in the head.
What's the message to the community once again? Because we've done this story over and over.
Well, patience behind the wheel. You know, your life is a whole lot more valuable than being right in a disagreement, right? So you feel someone cut you off, did you wrong, just let it go. Let it go. It's not worth it. You end up in a confrontation. If you force a confrontation, you're going to get a confrontation. You never know how a confrontation is going to play out, right? You might be confronting the wrong person at the wrong time on the wrong day, and then, you know, if you lose your life over what? It doesn't make any sense. And that's coming from a frustrated standpoint, because this is probably the third time in so many months that I've been delivering this message. But just let it go.
When you said they were street racing, do you know how fast they were going and what's the speed limit on the road they were driving on?
It's 45 on Crosstown Parkway, and I do not know how fast they were traveling, what speed they arrived at.
Is he still behind bars?
Yes.
And you don't have any plans to charge in any way these two people in the Honda, right?
No.
Does he have any other priors? The suspect?
He has
Do you know?
traffic-related violations, but nothing criminal to mention.
I know you kind of talked about this, but you said you're very frustrated with this kind of behavior. Can you talk again about why you find this frustrating?
It's completely unnecessary, right? The roadways need to be a place where our residents and citizens can travel safely. You know, you have an expectation, though, that you should be able to drive to work without being shot at, you know, right? And that's our job to provide that. So it's very frustrating when I know drivers are frustrated by traffic and other things, but this wasn't that situation. They had a wide open road. They decided they were going to play around together and got angry with each other, and we end up where we are today. So
Was he shooting out the driver's side window or the passenger side window of his truck?
I don't want to get quoted on that because I'm not 100%.
Because you get the impression he had like one hand on the wheel and one hand holding the rifle and shooting at the same time he's driving?
I would be guessing if I answered that, sir.
Did he, after the incident, did he go back to work? Or he went home? Or
He went home. Anything else?
Well, is there something you want to say, Chief?
You always ask me that, sir. I'm good.
Thanks, Chief.
Chief, you are going to be sharing with us body cam video. What do we see? Can you describe what we see on that body cam video?
That's just a little footage of the execution of the arrest, which was done peaceably. Our SWAT team executed that. We went and executed the search warrant of his home, and he was taken in custody there.
How close did the bullets come to striking the people in the car?
Very close. Very close.
Inches or-
Well, definitely a matter of inches, not feet.
They were both in the front seat of the car, right?
That's right. And the front passenger was the one that had a very close call.
And that was the female?
That was the female. Yeah, the trajectory went right over her head and out the windshield.
So the truck was behind him?
Probably alongside, but towards the rear. You know, if she were my height, she probably wouldn't be alive right now.
So one of the shots occurred on Crosstown, and then one of the shots at one of the side streets you mentioned, like Preston
Correct.
or something like that.
It was one of the
One
side
of the
streets.
side
Well,
streets.
yeah. Good.
Thank
All right,
you.
Chief.
Thank you, sir.
You're
I
welcome.
know it was something else you wanted to say.
You were right. Telemundo came through with another question.
There you go. That was a
I believe this is yours, sir. Thank you.
If we go